or Kylie Kwong, or great business entrepreneurs like Bing Lee, or wonderful new aspiring mathematicians such as Eddie Wu. Our country and our state would be much the lesser for not having those people. And those people and what they have achieved is because of our people, our parents and our families from Chinese and Asian background that have worked so hard and aspired to grab that opportunity on behalf of their young people. So when we have a Labor leader that is saying, like Michael Daly has said in his video, he doesn't encourage Asian and Chinese young people to go to university. Michael Daly, the Labor leader, doesn't encourage aspiring Asian and Chinese people to live in homes in Sydney. Michael Daly, the Labor leader, is saying that he doesn't believe people from Asian and Chinese background should be successful in this country. There has been a repetitive theme from the Labor Party now for several years. We heard it back prior to the last election, when Labor leaders were denouncing Chinese investment in this state of New South Wales. We heard it with the previous leader, when he made the most outrageous white flight comments, suggesting that people in our suburbs were leaving because of the background and the nationality of their neighbours. And now we are hearing the same themes repeated by Michael Daly. Michael Daly is two-faced. He is a hypocrite. He says one thing to one community and he says quite another to another community. He is prepared to say anything to win at any costs. And those comments have been derogatory and have driven a sword into the hearts of people of Chinese background and Asian background in our state of New South Wales. We condemn those comments outright, ladies and gentlemen, today, and I call on every member of the Labor Party to denounce and to call out those comments for what they are. The Chinese Asian community are a proud people. They are an intrinsic part of our population here in New South Wales and indeed in this country, and the New South Wales Liberal government supports each and every one of them, and we encourage those families to send their children to university, to achieve the great jobs, to aspire to the people that I've spoken about before and those remarkable leaders, and that will only make a greater country, a greater New South Wales, and we support the great cultural diversity of this state. I might ask our Treasurer to make some comments.
Thank you, Ray. I'll just make a few remarks. I believe that the comments made by the Labor leader were alarming, hurtful, and have no place in modern Australia. We have a rich history with a strong multicultural background. Our multicultural country here in Australia has achieved many great things, and to have various races called out by the Labor leader, I think was incredibly hurtful and wrong. Particularly I think multiculturalism has made our nation a richer and better place. We have a very diverse community, and I think that is a wonderful thing, and it should be embraced. What we saw from Michael Daly, the Labor leader, were very hurtful comments and incredibly disrespectful. They are alarming, and they said they have no place in modern Australia today. But it is two-faced. Michael Daly is a two-faced hypocrite. To say one thing to one community in the Blue Mountains and then to say another thing in front of the Australian Chinese media just 6 weeks later says it all. He will do whatever it takes. He will say whatever it takes to get a vote. But that is not leadership. That is not leadership at all. Leadership is standing up for what you believe in, even if people disagree with you, and uniting people together. And that's what we have with our Premier Gladys Berejiklian. Someone herself from a migrant background, someone herself who's come to this, her parents have come to this country, embraced the great opportunities that we have right here in Australia. And our great multicultural country has achieved many, many things. And so today, I join with my parliamentary colleagues to call out these remarks, to call out this rank hypocrisy from the Labor leader, and say that we are a united country and we will not stand for such two-faced hypocrisy in our state. Michael Daly is not fit to lead New South Wales. His remarks that have been aired this morning demonstrate just that. We are very proud of our multicultural community here in New South Wales, in Australia, and we'll always do what we can to unite our country as we move forward.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Scott Young, I'm the Liberal candidate for Kogarah, but I want to start in a very personal capacity today as a Chinese Australian who's really proud of my heritage, my Chinese heritage, but even a prouder Australian committed to Australia's future. I know that Minister Williams mentioned people such as Bing Lee and all these other great Chinese Australians, but I want to talk about my parents' stories and my stories, which is largely more reflective of the entire Asian community in New South Wales. I'm very hurt by these comments, not because I'm the Liberal candidate, but because I'm a Chinese Australian. And I just can't believe sometimes that these comments would come up in a year like 2019. I mean, you saw this stuff in white Australia when many of our grandparents were here. Now, my mum came in to Australia from Shanghai in the 80s, and my dad came here from Hong Kong earlier than that. It wasn't easy for them, right, as migrants, but mum came with $400, but they've come here now and they've worked hard. Dad's first job was selling children's textbooks, education textbooks. They're always passionate about education. They've started a small business together, educating Australians of all ages, kindergarten to year 12, giving them the opportunity, giving Australians the opportunity to get ahead. So this is very hurtful to people like my mum and to many parents that are out there. Now, an Australian-born Chinese of my generation that went to school at Kingsgrove Public School, Bexley North Public School, and Hurstville Public School, schools in the Kogarah electorate. I studied hard to go on to study at Sydney Boys High. So these comments, and we're all very passionate, irrespective of whatever background you are, we're very passionate about giving back to Australia. And as the Liberal candidate for Kogarah, my electorate of Kogarah represents one of the most diverse electorates in New South Wales. I know it has a large Nepalese community, but it also has the largest Chinese Australian community in New South Wales with over 32.5%. Many of us overnight, this has gone viral over WeChat, this has gone viral over Facebook, this has gone viral over other social media accounts, are very, very hurt by these comments. And I think if you're a true leader, you need to stand up for what you believe in. And I ask the Labor candidate for Kogarah, Chris Minns, the Labor candidate, to condemn Michael Daly's really, really racist comments. And I say this on behalf of the Chinese Australian community that I stand up for in Kogarah today. And if I'm given the privilege of being the member for Kogarah, I'll keep fighting these racist comments for as long as I'm in Parliament. Thank you.
Well, ni men hao ma panyo, my friends. As you know, I've been the previous Minister for Multiculturalism, but I'm here speaking as the member for Ryde, who has an extraordinarily large and diverse community, but particularly Chinese heritage. I come from Italian heritage. I'm a proud Australian with Italian heritage. I love my country, but I also love my heritage. I know plenty of Australians with Chinese heritage that should be equally proud of who they are and their heritage. The comments from Michael Daly are acidic, they're corrosive, and they destroy the fabric that we're trying to bring together here as a cohesive state, indeed a nation. The Chinese community has taught me so much over the years. One of the things that they've taught me is respect. And they tell me about this concept called face. If they show you face, that shows you respect. How on earth can Michael Daly, the leader of the Labor opposition here in New South Wales, show you respect when he gives you two faces? One face that says what you want to hear, another face that other people want to hear. That is the ultimate sign of disrespect. The ultimate sign of disrespect to a community that has given and will continue to give so much to our state and our nation. If Michael Daly's comments were echoed in any other part of the world, they would be uniformly condemned. They'd be on the front page of every media organisation, as they have been today. And I'm asking you, as responsible journalists, to call this out in the same way that we have. If this is not condemned in the strongest possible language, then it will continue. It has to stop. We all need to stand up and say no. And not just Michael Daly, but all of his people that are running for Parliament, that are putting their hands up to say, yes, I want to represent the people of my community in the state of New South Wales. They need to condemn this as well. Because if they don't, then they adopt it. And that's important. So I'm asking you to join us in making sure that each of the candidates in each of the seats, ask them the question, do you condemn these comments? We have a moment, a flashpoint here. We either continue to move forward or we put our head in the sand and just let it wash over us. I say we move forward and we condemn these comments.
Ni hao. My name is Mark Couray and I'm the local member for Oatley in the New South Wales Parliament. Today, being Tuesday, is the second day this week in which the current Labor leader has been exposed as a fraud. Yesterday, he was very supportive of the Green Movement in the inner city seats, and yesterday very supportive of the Shooters Party in country New South Wales, wanting to do preference deals throughout New South Wales. Today he's been exposed. He's exposed for the double take that he is. You can't say one thing in one community and say another in another community without exposure. And this is what's happened today. He will say anything or do anything just to win office. Mike Daly, the current Labor leader, has failed the Chinese community. And in my own community, a community that is one of the most multicultural anywhere in Sydney, we have one of the largest Chinese communities. And throughout Sydney, in fact, many of our buildings, our Harbour Bridge, our Opera House, our Parliament House, are all built by the hands of multicultural Australia. And the contribution that they have provided this great state and this great country cannot be underestimated. And I want to thank, in particular, the Chinese community for everything that you have done to make this country a fantastic country to live, to work and play. And today, as a Member of Parliament, I make a pledge to you, and in fact we all make a pledge today, that we will stand up against racism, against these comments from Michael Daly that, can I tell you, are straight out of the book of Pauline Hanson. Straight out of the book of Pauline Hanson. So today my pledge to you, not just to multicultural communities in my electorate, but throughout Sydney, that I, as a Member of Parliament, will continue to stand up against these comments, this form of racism, not just from Michael Daly, but from the likes of Pauline Hanson as well.
Any questions?
Perhaps I could ask a question to you. How do you feel as journalists on behalf of your respective Asian media outlets? How do you feel about the comments that have been made?
His daughter can't live in Maroubra he prefers his daughter to live in Maroubra rather than St Kilda. But the truth is, I want my kids to live in St George, was it? St George. So this is insane. I want my kids to live close to me too, so why is his kids more important than my own kids? The community is furious.
But why should you feel?
I want my kids to live close to me too, so why is his kids more important than my own kids? The community is furious.
But why should you feel any shame about educating your children to obtain great jobs that are available here in New South Wales and then establish themselves here in New South Wales? The third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth generations of Asian Chinese migrants that came here, that worked so very, very hard. Why should you feel that shame? I think he has brought great shame upon this community by the comments that he's made, insinuating that you should not educate your children to go to university, to suggest that you shouldn't buy a part of Australia and live in a home in Sydney, and to suggest that you should not be successful because he wants his children to be successful. I mean, these are some of the most divisive comments I think we've ever heard in this country. If there's nothing else, guys, we thank you very much for being here today on what is a very, very sad day, and everybody has alluded to, we condemn these comments outright. The Liberal National Government support this community as we always have, and we continue not only to support the Chinese Asian communities but all of our culturally diverse communities. We very, very proudly, as I often say, have a population that is the sum total of people from every nationality around the world. I also proudly say that we are unique by virtue of the fact that we are the most cohesive nation on earth that has been somewhat tarnished in the events of just the last few days. And so, as I've said before, I believe every leader in this country should be bringing our communities together, should be uniting our communities. They should not be dividing them, as Michael Daly is. Thank you so much.